You know that feeling, right? Like you're just constantly chasing money. You're running from one paycheck to the next, always hoping for that big break, that promotion, that hot stock tip. But at the end of the day, you just feel tired and you're still broke. Well, today we're going to dive into a framework that flips that whole idea on its head. This quote from investor Ken McElroy just nails it, doesn't it? It's this cycle that so many people get trapped in. But here's the good news. It really doesn't have to be that way. So what if the problem isn't how hard we're working, but what we're aiming for? What if we've been chasing the wrong thing this entire time? And here it is. This is the core idea of this whole explainer. Money isn't the goal you chase. It's a byproduct. It's what happens. It's the inevitable result when you get 5 other, much more important areas of your life in order. So what are these 5 magic areas? First up, we're going to stop the bleeding by getting rid of bad debt. Then we'll build an engine that makes you money, master your investing mindset, learn to respect your time, and finally define your why. If you get these things right, the money just follows. All right, let's jump in with pillar 1. This is all about playing defense. It's about stopping the single biggest destroyer of wealth right in its tracks, bad debt. Because every time you use it, you're literally stealing from your future self. So, what counts as bad debt? Well, according to McElroy, it's just a simple numbers game. If the interest rate is over 8%, it's bad debt. And why 8%? Because it is incredibly hard to find an investment that will safely and consistently give you a return higher than that. Anything higher and you're fighting a losing battle from day one. Now, and this is really important, not all debt is evil. Good debt is a tool. Think about a mortgage on a rental property. That's debt that someone else, your tenant, is paying off for you. Bad debt? Well, that's what you use for liabilities, things that lose value, like a vacation or a new car on credit. You're the one stuck with the bill and that soul-crushing interest. And this is where the math is just so painfully clear you can't ignore it. Let's say you have $10,000 in credit card debt at 20%. That's costing you $2,000 a year, gone. Meanwhile, you're trying to be a good investor and your 10 grand in stocks makes you, maybe $800? You see the problem. You're actively digging yourself into a $1,200 hole every single year. You just cannot outinvest that kind of debt. It's impossible. Okay, so once you've stopped the bleeding, it's time to play offense. Pillar 2 is all about building your engine, a system that makes money for you, even when you're not working. This is the whole make money while you sleep dream. I absolutely love this metaphor. When you buy a stock or some crypto, you're basically a passenger on a ship. You're just along for the ride, hoping it goes in the right direction. You have zero control. The goal is to become the captain, to be in control of your assets and in control of your financial destiny. So how do you take control? You stop gambling. You stop just buying something and crossing your fingers hoping its price goes up. The real strategy is something McElroy calls forced appreciation, where you actively make your asset more valuable. Here's a super simple real-world example of how it works. Let's say you find a rental property. It has the hookups for a washer and dryer, but no actual machines. That's your opportunity. You spend a little money, put in a washer and dryer. Now you can charge, say, $75 more a month in rent. That extra income, that extra cash flow, directly increases the total value of that property. You see? You didn't hope for appreciation, you went out and forced it. Okay, on to pillar 3. And this might be the most important one of them all. It's all about what's happening between your ears. Getting your psychology right is everything. And that's the bottom line. Your financial success is never, ever going to outgrow your mindset. If you're thinking small, if you're operating out of fear and scarcity, you will never build, or just as importantly, maintain long-term wealth. So you've got 2 paths here, right? You've got the emotional investor. When the market tanks, their brain is screaming, sell, get out. And when the market is hot, it's screaming, buy, FOMO. Their brain is their own worst enemy. But the strategic investor, they get it. They understand that markets move in cycles. They see a crash not as a disaster, but as a discount, a massive sale, a buying opportunity. And the 2008 crash is the perfect real-world example of this. During the crisis, when Americans were panic selling everything they owned, investors from other countries were pouring money into the US. Why? They were outside the emotional bubble. They saw the fire sale for what it was, and they loaded up on assets at rock-bottom prices. That is a wealth mindset in action. And now for pillar 4, And this one is maybe the most profound of all of them. We have got to understand the true value of our time because it is the one and only asset that is truly finite. You can't get it back. I want you to really think about this for a second. Money is just a tool for buying back your time. Every dollar you invest in an asset that produces cash flow, that's you literally buying hours and days and years of your life back. And every dollar you waste on bad debt, well, you're selling your future time just so you can have something today. And that brings us to our final and most critical pillar. You can do everything else we've talked about perfectly, but if you don't have this one nailed down, none of it will matter. You have to know why. Why are you doing this? Why are you building wealth in the first place? This is such a powerful warning. The world is full of rich, miserable people. They won the money game, but they lost everything that actually mattered in the process. They chased the number, but they completely forgot the purpose. McElroy tells this personal story about how he had a big realization. To his kids, love wasn't about the expensive toys he'd bring home from his business trips. It was just about his presence. They wanted his time, not his money. Love equals time. And you know what? That simple little equation changes everything. So here they are all together. You get out of bad debt, you build a cash-flowing engine, you develop a strategic mindset, you value your time above all else, and you anchor every single decision in a powerful why. These aren't just pillars of wealth, they're the pillars of a well-lived life. And that is the ultimate takeaway from all of this. Stop chasing the money. Focus on getting these 5 pillars right. Focus on living a well-ordered life. And if you do that, the money becomes an afterthought. It's simply the consequence. It literally has no choice but to follow. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question. Looking at these 5 pillars, which one needs your attention right now? What is the one small thing you can do, starting today, to begin building a life where wealth is the inevitable result?